Salutes to everybody. Much love and respect. We are back. Hey man, make sure y'all hit that like button for us, family. Please like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. We are back. The title is The Poor Righteous Teacher and the Rich Fool. We're gonna talk about Donald Trump. We're gonna talk about Young Thug. We're gonna talk about Charleston White. We're gonna talk about 607. We're gonna talk about a lot of rich fools, and we're gonna shed some light on the poor righteous teacher. But make sure y'all hit that like button for us, family. I also have some of the brothers, the guys, they're gonna be joining me on this one. But while we waiting on the brothers, I'm gonna go right ahead and I'm gonna jump right into today's topic. Make sure y'all hit that like button for us, family. I apologize for the wait. We are back. We are here for a strong time, not a long time tonight. Make sure y'all hit that like button and make sure y'all share the stream. It's going to be a great stream for everybody, man. Let me We act like we don't know what's going on. And this is where we at, people. This is why we going through the shit that we going through, because we got those who are selling us out. We got those who are killing us softly. We got those who are going along with this corporation. We got those who are going along with the laws and the statutes of these men who have came and who have taken this land, while at the same time telling us that we're fighting to get this land back. How we gonna fight? What are we gonna do? It can't. We can't do them both. What is it gonna be? We gotta be information with our information. We have to make our minds up. Are we gonna fight for this land, or are we gonna fight for position to be new slaves in the new system of the new world order? Because these people are moving forward with their plans. They're not bullshitting. We got a black boule system who are gate guards. These people are gate guarding our community. These people don't believe in our people. These people have already bought in to the system of the corporation. These people have already outed our people. They've already outed our children. They're okaying the bringing in of troops. They're telling these people that our children are they're telling these people that our children are savages. And this is what they deemed us already in society, as savages. They deemed us as savages, people. So what do you do with a savage? Wage war on a savage. You think these National Guard is coming in here to play with these children? You think they finna come in there and talk to them with tanks? Nah, they ain't coming to talk to them with no tanks. They ain't coming to question them. They not coming to play with them. They not gonna play a basketball game with these children. They're coming for war. We act like that we don't know that when the troops invade the cities, we've been told this time and time again throughout history. When the troops invade the cities, that means martial law. We've been told that Donald Trump will be the last president, the 45th and the last president. But yet and still, what do all these people whose name and a title have in common? They're all backing Donald Trump. They're all a part of a system. I can't trust a nigga who's a part of that who's a part of that category that I just named. You know something the rest of us don't. We got our HBCUs. It's a go along to get along. That's why I say I'm not worried about no niggas selling out when there's too many niggas already buying in. This is where we at today, people. Mic check, mic check. We've been having people who've been supporting Donald Trump. Um, and I don't even know if I've been muted. This stream, y'all, I really ain't used to this, y'all. This supposed to have been a test right here. This supposed to have been a test right here. I'm really testing out this stream, y'all, but I'm speaking from my heart right now. We've been having people who've been supporting Donald Trump, and I get it. I get it. Even though I don't vote, even though I know that we ain't gonna get nothing out of voting, I still give people the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, let them vote. Maybe they can't see, but it'll come to them. Once they get through this term, like the people went through the last term, y'all must have forgot. Y'all act like y'all forgot the positions that our people been put in, the insanity that we under from doing the same things over and over again and looking for a different result. I did want to test this thing out. That conversation on yesterday on Big Dog Philly OG's channel was so disturbing to me because when I say the things that I say and when I display information that I display, nothing is for personal gain. I can get personal gain offline. I don't come online for personal gain. I don't come online to shine on niggas. I don't come online to shit on niggas. I don't come online to explain who I am and what I'm doing and to look down upon people. I come online to find some type of median, to search for those who have a like mind, to search for others who want liberation, to search for those who are also seeking knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We just got to be able to decipher those who are agents, whether agents of chaos, whether agents of destruction, whether agents of you know distraction. We got to be able to understand when somebody show us who they is. We got to start taking those people for who they is. We got to know what we dealing with, but we also got to be information with our information. We got to have a destination. We got to know where we trying to go. We just playing with this shit, they gonna play with us. That's why right now we can't even make our minds up as a collective, as a people. The majority of us want these troops to come in. It's just like the mayor of Chicago. He already said when they come over there, because they got a young black mayor. He said when they come over there, it's gonna be war. It's gonna be on. And with fake shit being real now, who's to say he's not a part of the problem? I don't trust none of these motherfuckers. I don't trust nobody who's taking an oath. Maybe a lot of people have taken an oath at one particular point in time in their life. But I really trust a person who's told me they've taken an oath before, but they are no longer under oath. I trust them the most. That shows me how truthful they can be. We got people online talking about, and this ain't directed toward nobody. I'm talking about every motherfucking body. If you gotta go to this corporation and try to get some type of solidification to display who you are, you need somebody to tell you who you are, then you ain't shit. I went to the USDA. I told them I'm an American Indian. I'm an Aboriginal to this country, to this land. I didn't need no paperwork. I'm who I am by blood and by the land that my people still possess. I'm not faking with this shit. I'm not playing with this shit. I'll pull up tombstones. That's all the genealogy I need. My last name on them tombstones. It go all the way back 200 years ago. I'm not saying everybody can do that. Shout out to Von Hall. But I am telling people responsibility. Stop going outside yourself. Go inside. You got an eldest family member. You ain't the oldest person in your family. Talk to them. Ask them the questions. Stop seeking validations from a motherfucker who want to eradicate your ass. We can't go to the white man and ask the white man to solidify who he is. You find out who you is through your people and you tell them who you is. That way we can demand some shit. We can be confident when we know who we is, and then we go to these people. They already reclassified us over and over again. They're reclassifying our people. And that's who we trust. So I got a question. So after we side with these people, then what's the end game now? Do you think they just gonna hand this land over after they've taken their time? They've pillaged this place. They took this place by blood. Now you think they just gonna give it back because they feel like it's the right thing to do? I think not. I think these gate guards in the black boule are signing up to be the new age slave system. I think they're signing up our warriors, our soldiers to be eradicated so that they don't have no problems and no issues so they can be some comfortable slaves. They don't want you disturbing massa on the plantation because when massa's sick, they sick. When massa hungry, they hungry. When massa got a headache, they got a headache. These are the type of people we dealing with. My brother Dre Cobb, salute. Real shit is real shit. We can't keep playing with these people because they playing with us. And if we keep playing with them, they gonna think we playing and that shit ain't gonna never get serious. We sitting up here voting for some motherfuckers who done already shed our blood. You think they won't shed some more if you get out of line? That's why these troops are coming into these cities right now. And anyone who's validating these people coming into these cities with the National Guard at this time, you better watch them. They don't mean you, me, or nobody that look like us no good. These are our children. You have to discipline your own children. Why in the hell will we go and ask another man to come discipline our children? You won't do it on a personal level. These children are the way they is because of us. It is our responsibility. It is our fault. It's not okay for us to turn them over into the hands of our enemy because these children are our future. We've already let them turn our children into transformers. We've already let them turn our children into swinging gateways, bending our boys over. They getting fucked in every sense of the word. It ain't nothing real about that. Ain't nothing safe about that. There's nothing safe about that. Thank you. It keep muting me. This is this stream, y'all, you know. And what I was saying was we gotta be insane to continue to take the same steps over and over again and look for a different result. The poor righteous teachers don't get no support because we'll sit back and tell ourselves some crazy shit like the truth don't need no help when the truth need all the help. We are under the algorithm. We under the guise of the algorithm. The algorithm is us dancing to the all gory rhythm. This algorithm is leading us right into our own destruction. We've been led into a burning house, a burning system. And like I was saying before, the system is working just perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the system. We're not going to come into these people's system of things and change it. We got those people that look like us who are telling us that this is our system. That's the trick, to indoctrinate us into this system, to get us comfortable in this systematic way of living. When it's designed to oppress us. It's designed to oppress us. Let me see how to allow my brother Big Dog Philly. Okay. Salute, salute.
Salute, my brother, Grand Rising, man.
Peace and power, my brother OG.
Peace and power. Continue on, brother. I just seen you was live. I tapped in, man. Go ahead. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, you know, I just feel like it's crazy, man, that we can't see that we need to. Our biggest problem is the boule system, and we can't have no sympathy for those who are displaying themselves as boule. We gotta call a spade a spade. If those people are in our way, if those people are undercutting us, we got to make them stand on the other side. Or I'm sorry to say it, we got to shoot their ass too because they the closest thing to us. This the biggest problem that we have in our community. Those who feel like we ain't nothing and we ain't never gonna be nothing, and they ain't trying to give us a chance to be something. There's so many people, and most of these people are these so-called Trump supporters. A lot of people are Trump supporters, not because Trump is going to be the best candidate, but because they know the play. They know that Trump is the last president. Everything, every step that he's taking right now is to push us into martial law so we won't even have another next election. Like I said before, they are listening to us. They see the numbers dropping. They know what's going on. They know that after they make certain plays, they know that people ain't gonna be so quick to go out and vote no more. Ain't no need to vote no more now. And I don't believe that it would have been a difference if people wouldn't have voted in the first place. The left and the right wing is on the same bird, going towards the same destination. So it don't matter if it would have been Kamala Harris. It don't matter if it would have been Donald Trump. There will still be troops going into these cities right now. First, they told us it was all about the immigrants. Then they told us it's a fucking alien invasion happened. And the crazy part about that, they said the aliens is big black niggas. And then they tell us that it's all about the crime that's happening when crime is down. What you think about that, OG?
Basically, it's the fabrication of their information or the lies that they've been telling for a long time, man. But our people believe it. But yeah, you pretty much on point with they pushing.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's a lot of our people who are finding themselves in comfortable position because they seeing the window closing on any other opportunity. So they trying to cling on to their comfortable position within this corporation, and they don't care about risking the livelihood of the rest of us, or should I say our children. Now, I'm not saying that criminals shouldn't be dealt with, but what I'm saying is we shouldn't put our people in position to be criminalized. I thought the fight was all about the liberation of our people. See, back at the time, we was fighting for civil rights. And we got a lot of people who will come up on these panels and totally eradicate our forefathers or the people before us, the shit that they was fighting for, and say that they was sellouts and all this and that. What about the niggas buying in? We got people straight buying in. When you are coming up and saying you are a Democrat or a Republican and you are already taking a position with this corporation, you buying in, you worse than a sellout. That means you a gate guard. It's two sides on the gate. Which side of the gate are you on? But you still on the gate and you separated away from the people, leaving the people on the outside to be bombarded or be discarded. We got to point that shit out. But we also got to have a pivot point. We got to have a pivot point so we can have a point of perception so that we can be able to see things from the same light, so that we can be able to see where we at, so we can find the destination point that's going to be safe for us. Because we got people who are taking this thing and they're giving us their opinions from their independent, safe positions. Everybody not safe. The system wasn't made where everybody can be successful. You gotta basically get fucked to be in some type of succession point in the first place. And I don't think we really paying attention to that because we being too busy being entertained. Do you think that um this whole National Guard move, what do you think is gonna really be like an outcome of that, OG? Do you think this is gonna help prevent crime, or do you think it's gonna make shit worse? Because I personally think it's gonna
Give me
make.
5 minutes, kid. I can't talk.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, take your time, OG. Because me personally, I think it's gonna make shit worse. Like I said, you got the mayor of Chicago already rallying the people up to, stand strong against those troops, which I was, which was one of my biggest fears in the first place, because we already see that these youngsters are willing to go to war and fight with each other. So you think they ain't gonna go to war and fight with these troops that's coming in to really do harm for the people and to really try to restore some type of order? We fighting to be free. We're not fighting to be more controlled. When they got people who are, advocating for the system, when the system is trying to get all up in your personal business and shit, they trying to come in and have more of a right to take your children. We dealing with sick individuals. We dealing with PDF files. These PDF files want a reason to come in and take your children. To say, "Oh, you illegal. Oh, you got a warrant. Or, oh, you know, your license ain't good," or and all this shit here. So the more personal they get, the more individualized they're gonna be able to be with everybody and take advantage of these situations so they can do whatever they want to do. So we gotta be aware of these type of things, man. I just don't get how this is going over everybody's head all the while people are being entertained. This why I don't buy this shit when niggas say, "Oh well, I'm kicking the truth, but I gotta do it in the way I'm doing it. I gotta be funny." You can be funny and be serious at the same time. You don't have to be a fool and not get no truth across. It's supposed to all be about the truth. It's supposed to all be about liberation. How are we going to go to the corporation to try to find a placement for our people? We don't even have an economic floor. We're the only so-called nationality without an economic floor. And we saying that we the American Indian, and they brought the Native Americans over here and gave the Native Americans an economic floor and placed those people above us. And I don't care what no one says, those people are above us. Why? Those people have monthly checks. They get monthly checks like veterans. They get monthly checks like they've been over fighting a war for this country. They have a whole reservation, a designated area where the police don't even go in there fucking with them. They get free health care. They get free food. So yes, they are above us. Yeah, they're above us. So you can call it what you want, but it is what it is. And I don't know if y'all said I'm messing with this stream yard, and this is my first time dealing with this stream yard. Come up and build with us. Salute to my brother T Wriggles. Salute, salute, salute. Much love and respect. You know I'm testing this stream yard out. Give us a mic check, good brother.
Salute, salutes. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I didn't get any notifications, man. I had to look, on your channel just to get on. Strange.
Yeah, they not doing the notifications for me. And you know, I was locked out of my Zoom. I do have an alternate Zoom for my work, but I'm not gonna use my work Zoom for this, man. So I haven't used StreamYard in about 5 years. But we here, man, and it seems to be working out. I want to know your take on, I'm having this conversation per our conversation yesterday. It just touched me the wrong way, something I really don't like. When it comes to these troops being ushered into our communities and our children being so-called the targets, but I say it's our people as a whole. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, our peoples have been targeted, especially with the cities, that the National Guard is in. It's pretty strange. What a coincidence that it's all in, the brothers' neighborhood. And on a deeper note, not only are brothers targeted, but I got to throw this in here, Key. The spiritually gifted ones are especially under attack, and I don't agree with it. I don't like it either. But I do know one thing, Key and Big Dog, Billy, OG. I do know one thing here. I know where I'm at. I know what empire this belongs to. You know, I know things haven't changed from a very long time. So these moves and actions are expected, but I think that they better be careful on how they move, because if you move incorrectly, it's not going to be pretty. And I land.
Yeah, my brother Key, I'm able to talk now real quick, brother. You know, what's mind blowing to me is those that still backing this corporation, despite all the lies, all the misinformation, all the deception that has been given to the people. You know what I mean? They're still believing their vote count. They're still believing in, like you said, the corporation. Or
Mm,
they just straight up oath takers that's keeping to their oath back in the corporation no matter what the corporation does.
mm,
Our people that think this National Guard gonna just come into the cities and not just police black areas or nigger areas or African American areas. You know what I
mm,
mean? It's mind blowing. You got these people that's backing the corporation no matter what the corporation did. COVID-19, uh, uh, police brutality. You can go on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to back the corporation no matter what. That's insanity to me, brother. And that's, like you said, the boule,
mm.
willing to be experimented on, willing, to just do whatever. That's what's mind blowing to me, man. But I definitely agree with what you're saying, 110%, my brother. That conversation was mind blowing because they wanted me to be somebody's leader, and I'm only leading my motherfucking self and my family. That's all I'm leading. Nobody else. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a scholar, and I'm not your motherfucking leader. I lead myself, so
Mm.
that way I'm only accountable for myself and my family. But I land there, man. Much love to all of y'all, man. Power to the motherfucking people and flat
Well said.
motherfucking power.
Well said, OG. Well
Shout
said.
out to the people. Flat motherfucking power, man. And it gets crazy that when we start speaking truth, there's always some type of diversion. And, that was my plight too yesterday on how it turned into now that we're being, um, that the state is turning into our enemy. I'm already an enemy of the state. We've been targeted. I'm not targeting the state. I'm just calling a spade a spade. I'm just simply saying, hey, what you're doing is hurting me. And they don't even want you to speak out and say that a thing is hurting you. They want you to basically the whole symbolism of them standing on George Floyd's neck. The world is a stage. All these things come with symbolism. All these things come with, a rite of passage. And these are ritualistic situations that a lot of the Masonic order, I'm not going to just say all Masons, a lot of the higher level Masons, a lot
I'll
of
say it
the,
for you, good bro.
yeah, yeah, a lot of these people who are positioned, with the boule are, you know, taking these positions of safety. They're taking a safety net and they're leaving the people to the wolves, like throwing the rest of us under the bus. And, that ain't right. So we got to separate ourselves from these people. We got to stop supporting people like Charleston White, people like Young Thug, and our children are supporting these people for entertainment. They getting rich off us. They're taking their riches and getting paid off of us, but they're going back and they're backing the system that's inducting us into a burning house, which is just burning up everybody who not going along with the system. They already poisoning the air. They already poisoning the food. I mean, so where do we go from here? Is there going to be some type of quick turnaround to where they stop poisoning us, or are we just supposed to go along and get along? I mean, where do we go from here?
Well, I see that, these panels that we have, we're like, we can honestly say we're the voice of the people. And, and we can't have these, this silent war that's going on, continue. Well, one thing I like about this silent war, it's getting louder and louder. So, I don't like using the word hope, gentlemen. That's like saying faith and belief. You know, I know we're going to make a difference somehow, some way, because this madness, gentlemen, can't continue on what we're witnessing in our land.
Oh yeah. I think that we're at a point to where they basically playing us as, they call us the minority. They call us the minors of this situation. And like I stated on yesterday, when it comes to government, they're only governing us. And like someone pointed out, we don't never really see like Asians or all these other people at the polls. They promote this voting system to us. They want to see if we will be the people who go out and vote. They want to see how many of us are down with their cause. And this should be a problem. This should be something that sticks out. We got to start recognizing this shit, you know, so we can at least stop participating. And when it comes to the fight, the fight won't be a physical fight. The fight will be a fight of non-participation. It's going to be a mental divorce in the system. So we're not up here rallying for anyone to go out and harm anyone physically. We're just tired of being harmed, and they're making that an issue. They're making it an issue that you tired of being harmed, and I don't see what the problem is with that, man.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't. I feel the same way. You know, we're not really being the aggressors here, and in our nature too, it's not for us to be, aggressive. But if you push me too much, well, of course, and I think that's where some of us are at. We kind of getting pushed too far, and we'll see what the outcome is, because you said last time we spoke, Key, they're going for the Latin people. So who do you think they coming for next? And that was profound, because yeah, if we don't make sure things are run appropriately, or justice, and even, it's going to be like a major takeover in a way. So I land right there.
Yeah, I think that I think we just gotta be more clairvoyant on, what we're actually perceiving. I think that we're so separated by opinions, and we're so opinionated that we're all not agreeing that we see the same things. Even though we're looking at the same thing, we're saying that we see different things. So we're not really in touch with reality. You know, what are they really telling us? They said they was coming for the Latin people. There's still so many Latin. I'm in Texas right now. I see so many Latin families. They got big houses. They got, that was all like a psyop or a hoax to me. A lot of these people that they was talking about, these were like Venezuelans and those small little people. And then we can see that there was a stage. There was nothing really going on. All of these things have been staged. Even when Donald Trump supposedly got shot, somebody came up to Reagan and hit him in the back of the head with a bottle while he was on stage. And Trump just staged that same incident Just like Will Smith stage going up slapping Chris Rock. It's all to entertain the people. We see that. When Kamala Harris was running for presidency, she didn't come up and talk about policies or even not even predictions or not even asking the people what they wanted or anything. She didn't have any plans or anything like that. All she did was bring out Megan Thee Stallion and have a big dance party to keep the people entertained. She tried to entertain her way into the presidency. So, I mean, as far as what I just said, like, what's your take on how they really view us and view the people?
Well, my take would be, that they look at us as sheep, cattle, product, consumers, and that's where the indoctrination program,
Slaves,
huh?
slaves.
Yeah, you can say that, for sure, and so, seeing this worldwide, this is not just a brother thing, what I mean, this is humanity kind of thing. This is how I'm looking at it, you know, you know, to our Latin brothers, our Caucasians, our Asians, you all have been indoctrinated somehow. You've bought in. And I think really that is what Big Dog keeps saying over and over again, don't participate, and we got to find a way how we can set it up where we all can fend for our own and each other somehow. Do you know what I mean? This is the only way things are really going to get done to me, unless, because America's been infiltrated, right? Unless we flush this system all the way out and then replace it with really people that can't be swayed, can't be bought, will uphold the law like justice and truth. And they stand on that only. I think if we're going to flush out the system, that's the only way it's going to work. And I know.
And my brother Key, T. Wriggles, y'all said some key points, right? Donald Trump is not trying to clean up the politics and politics, right? They're policing the people more. They ain't trying to clean up the corporation. They ain't trying to clean up the lies and the deception that has been put on the people. They're still pushing that lies and deception. What they're doing is, by bringing the National Guard out, basically is policing the people more. They're basically saying that the police is incompetent of doing their job and they need help. Policing us, not draining the swamp, not getting these corrupt politicians and changing the corporation, but policing the people so they can fill these prison cells up and take away our birth heritage or our rights as, human beings. But yeah, that's what they're doing, good brother, and y'all pointing it out, and I'm reiterating on how they're policing the people more and not cleaning up the corruption that's in Washington, D.C., and that's in the corporation. So, those Trump supporters still believe they're trying to get rid of these corrupt politicians, but basically what they're doing is setting up a system where they can target anybody and everybody and get away with it. But, y'all brothers on point. Y'all got it.
Well, I would say this too, Phil, OG. I would say this, that, you know, all of the police departments all around the United States really needs a whole flush, especially what we just saw in Cincinnati, with the brawl. I mean, that's just outrageous, with all the corruption that goes on out here. And I don't even want to talk about the LA County sheriffs out here with all the things that go on behind the scenes and what they do. So I know if that's happening here, it's happening worldwide here, all in the States. Yeah, I can say worldwide. The whole corruption period, and people being able to be swayed with money, and that's like ain't that like the one of the ultimate sins? Do you know what I mean? Like you shouldn't be able to do that, but it's
That's
this is an
funny
uphill
too.
battle. So if Trump is doing his end, uh that's great if he is, because I really don't know, right? But if I like to put the focus on us, you know like what are we going to be doing? No movements have been made yet, or there's organizations helping, providing for the people behind the scenes. I'm not too sure on that, what I mean? But I'm really focused more on us than anything.
I got you, my brother T. Wiggles, and that's a good point. We need to focus on us more than anything. I was going to say, shout out my nigga Key, and saying what he's saying in yourself, you know what I mean? But to keep it real with the people, this corporation is still dealing with, the deception. They're still backing the black hats no matter what they're doing and still covering up the crimes that has been done in America.
Yeah.
So go ahead, T. We can
Oh,
hear you,
yes,
brother. I know
salute.
you got knocked out.
See, my
You got
thing, my thing with Trump, man, is okay. So why you can't get in office and then rearrange the office seat? So if we all remember, he rearranged the office seat. So if he rearranged the office seat and hired who he wanted to, then who would he be locking up? And why haven't we heard of anybody he's locked up? Just like they said that they will be saving these so-called children who were being um, harmed or misused. We've yet to hear of any children. We've yet to hear of any politicians who've been locked up. And if you have fired everybody you wanted fired and hired who you want hired, then where are the politicians that you're going to be locking up? Why would you wait to lock some politicians up when you hired everybody you wanted to hire? Everybody who supposed to be corrupt ain't in the seat no more. So, I mean, why aren't we hearing of any of this swamp cleaning? Where is the swamp? What is the swamp? What a
Mm,
swamp at? It looked like a big lake everybody swimming in to me, if you ask me.
yeah.
And they swim and they skinny dipping in the lake. you know, they having a good old time in the lake.
Mm,
So I'm not buying it.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, Key. I don't believe anything. I like to know. So I totally understand the concerns, we have for everyone here in the States, and to hear, you know, and much love to Sister Betty Nat, much love. I mean, I love her. She's strong mind, strong woman. That's what I'm talking about, you know. But when she said that, yeah, they're locking these politicians up, and there was only 5 that got locked up in 2025, you know, DUI charge, and there was only like one of them that, or 2 of them that had like a federal case, and we know that there's many, many more in that high end place. So, they've got some cleaning up to do, and so do we.
Yeah, and Von Hall, shout out to Von Hall, shout out to my brother Bruns. They made a good point saying Von Hall made a good point saying we got to agree on who we are, and we got to agree on what we want too. But when we are talking about draining the swamp, we're talking about serious offenses. What done happened is we got people who are getting locked up for like DUIs and things of that nature. So these are things that always happen all the time. This ain't no extra news. This ain't nothing that's really affecting the people. You know, we got Trump who been named in the Epstein case. We got so many more serious offenses going on. So I call these things for what they are. I call them as distractions. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's a whole leap of distractions. I've always thought about what are these distractions for, to keep us away from topics, or to keep the focus off from ourselves. You know what I mean? Always have people in panic mode, or worry, or in complain mode, and that, when they do that, it's like now we're putting in a demand, and here comes their solution to the demand that we have. And so knowing that play, that problem reaction solution type of deal, we all just have to, keep our eyes open, keep talking, because we are being heard, so, and that's all I can say on that.
Yeah, because it's just the thing to me is I don't really see these politicians. I mean, what government? The government ain't knocking at my door. The government, not yet. Anyway, I think it's gonna be these gate guards and these boule motherfuckers who are gonna allow the government to start knocking at my door, or to start really fucking with me and my family. Like, so that's why I say that the boule and these gate guards are slave catchers. They preaching to us, telling us, hey, don't let the white man catch you and round you up. Come here, nigga. Let me put this rope around your neck and let me take you to him. You know, they are telling us they learning the ways of the enemy, and they coming and implicating the ways of the enemy on us. All the while we paying them to do so. We're literally paying them to do so. And we're thinking because these people are sound educated, they look educated. It looked like they got their shit together, but they got a financial backing from the construct to come down and be slave catchers to rally us up as a herd and lead us to the slaughterhouse. This is an issue. So we got to be able to at least say, even if we can't agree on who we are, even if we can't agree on where we trying to go, we got to first agree that we seeing the same shit. We can't even agree that we see the same shit. Some people saying, "Ah, nah, it didn't hurt that bad," and a lot of people saying, "Man, that hurt real bad." Some people say it didn't hurt that bad. I mean, how do we first? I think personally that we gotta separate those that's not for us and separate those people from us first. I think that is the distraction, because we are continually to say, well, these are our brothers and our sisters, even though they keep voting. And, we had ideologies in the past to where we were saying, hey, man, these people ain't on our thinking patterns. And then we softened up a little bit. So then we started to say, hey, okay, man, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. After this term, then they're going to see, and then we'll be able to tell them. But this is a repetitive motion, and it keeps happening, and it's making us all crazy. because these people want to keep repeating the same things. They keep coming up with different ideas or different ideologies and different reasons to why they keep making the same predictive patterns, and it's putting us all in the line of fire.
Yeah, I don't like that politician game where it's, you know, you breaking promises and all that. You say you're gonna do one thing and then you do another. Yeah, that game is kind of old. And I'm glad you mentioned. I'm super glad you mentioned the boule. These gate guards. Who are backed by the machine, just like some artists are backed by the machine. So I think that for everyone in the states, everyone, to break the spell of this indoctrination, whatever you've been told, in through your schooling, some indoctrinated elders, you've been lied to. I think that how people say, education, education is the way. Well, if education is based on the truth, then yeah, that's the way. That's the way, right? Everyone's got to know, what's really going on and how this whole thing operates. Because if you don't know how this whole thing operates, as Neely Fuller would say, everything else will only confuse you.
I agree with you on that. Then we got a lot of pretendians. We got a lot of pretendians. We got a lot of people who are operating under the disguise of being one of us, but they not like us. See, we know who we are. Why? Because we know who we are. We've researched and we know our history. Not because we gonna get some type of paper or some type of certification from the government to tell us who the fuck we are, because the government is the motherfuckers that's fucking us over in the first place. Them the people we don't trust. So how can we on one hand be oppressed by the government and then on another hand side with the government, and then on the third hand, which we don't even have, right? So on the third hand, which we don't even have, be able to try to foresee us sitting side by side with some people who took our shit in the first place. This don't make sense. This is the ideal of the rhetoric that's being shot to us. So are they stupid or are we stupid? And I know that they looking at it like we're stupid. They're looking at it like we're unconscious. They're treating us like the minor. They already deemed us as the minority. So we need like a parent or a government. They feel like we need them to govern our mind. They don't want us to liberate ourselves and start to govern ourselves. And I think that's the issue. As long as they can keep us included into their bullshit, then they can continue to feed off of our energy. They need our energy so that they can prolong this oppression system. You know what I'm saying? They need to feed off us because without us they can't function. But we got our own who are dragging us along in this rat race where we're continuing to knock one another from climbing to the top, but we should be all lending a helping hand, helping each other get over. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the mystery that this unifying. I guess that's a foreign word to people, or people don't know what it looks like. And the only thing for people, I could say what it looks like, you gotta kind of visualize this unification as in, try to understand my analogy here, is the jail concept, right? But instead of being separate, where you got brothers over there, you got Latin over there, you got this over there, you got that, right? Right. We got to come together somehow, because this isn't just the brother thing. You feel me? I think all colors are subjugated to this oppression. And then once the majority of all of the colors, you know, realize, okay, we're alone here, you know, we can't ask for help, and the only way to help is, you know, each other. You know, until all the colors realize that. Do you know what I mean? Not just us. Do you know what I mean? All of us. And once we realize that, I think now a play could be executed. You know, but until then, you know, let's. I don't want to say sit and wait, but this is like my only play I could play. I can see right now until it's time to move.
I agree with you on that because, like I'm saying, we got black gate guards. We got black people who are using the color of their skin to be included with us, but they using a ideology to be included with the system. The system was designed to break us. The system was designed to stand on our backs. So we have those who are lining up at the gates to looking for a seat on the other side of the gate. But at the end of the day, they just still a nigga too. Because these people didn't come and take this land by bloodshed just to return it. So we got people speaking false doctrines. This is what sin is about. This is what abominations and shit really is. We looking at this shit in a biblical sense when it's happening right here in front of our face. Anybody who's going along with this land was taken by blood. This land was taken by robbery, murder, theft, raping, selfishness, you know, evil tactics, darkness. There was no, and then they replaced the things that they took from us with salvation and and hope and faith, things that we can't see. They robbed us of our spirits, trying to steal our souls and have us hang our bodies up on a cross to wait to be coming back for to our next life to receive a blessing. It's just like bro said last night, like, they ain't gonna they telling us, God is punishing y'all because y'all turned away from God. They ain't saying that, y'all punished because we took y'all shit. So who is God? When they speak of God, they don't have no connection to the divine. That's why they got to use divination because they're not divine. This is why they have to use paganistic practices to try and reach a divine state. They don't have no connection to the divinity of things. It's all an outside source. They're feeding off of our energy. We're chasing things such as a dollar or riches of this world, or not even nothing physical. We either chasing riches or physical things on this plane, or we're chasing a life after this one for salvation in exchange for our true light, our true essence, our divine being, our divine self. We're trading that in and they're ciphering our energy. This go back to the Welling Wall, the black box. And we wonder, you know, what's taking our energy? My energy is being manipulated by the sun and the moon and all this extra shit. No, your energy is being manipulated by the powers of be. When they say God, God is the collective consciousness of these men and these women who's running this motherfucking world under the guise of the God. The Pope tells you he's got the manifestation of God on earth. What's your takes on that?
Well, I can tell you right now, the Pope is not the manifestation of God. I mean, but the indoctrination, it works to a T. No pun intended there, right? It does. It works perfectly. I was just telling the religious people earlier today. I tip my hat off to them. Great job. You got brothers screaming Jesus. You got Middle Easterns screaming Allah. You got some Asians saying the Shinto and the Buddhism, and you got South Americans with the Catholics. Great job. You got to tip the hat off to them. Until people break those chains and realize, hey man, it's that was the lie, and the truth is, we got to fend for each other. We are, technically speaking, we are one race, and one of their key tactics that works every time is an old school game, with divide and conquer. They're really good at that. And so with the divide and conquer, everyone else is mimicking that tactic. When you got everybody separate over there, no, you've got white only towns now, and you got white only towns in Arkansas. You feel me? You got white only towns in South Africa named Aranya. So all of this division, when our humanity, right, as a whole, come together and say no more, even though there's a protest and there's rioting going on all over Europe right now. They're having enough over the immigration situation or whatever is going on. Like, so as a whole, to humanity, like just to humanity, us as a whole, what are we going to do? Are we still gonna protest and complain and sorry for my French here, but this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? When are we gonna get off of this titty? And then let's do this on our own. It's been done before. And I'll land right here. Sorry for being so long-winded. And and us as brothers here, didn't they say, wasn't this the rhetoric? Wasn't this the rhetoric that we heard for years? That we built this country, Okay, if you feel like that, well, then we can do it again. What's wrong with building again and start anew? We don't have to leave. We can just build it again. So that's my question for everyone. What are we going to do in our land?
When I hear divine and power, I instantly think of mythology. These people, are still backing the church, is still believing in this creator or this God is going to come back, and it's not. That's all a part of mythology. How long is the people supposed to wait? I'm not waiting because I know the truth. You know what I mean? Nothing divine in the sky. No God is going to come save us. That's all a part of mythology that every corporation or country pushes on their people. Like he talked about the Arabs saying Allah, the Christians, Jesus, the Jehovah Witnesses, Jehovah, the Hebrew, Yahshua, whatever it is. None of those imaginary characters is going to come save the people. It's only the people going to save the people. But, y'all talked about the church. You know what I mean? The people that's still believing in that, they're basically puppets. Like I said, that C thing was a divider for me. all the people that took that C thing, they're agreeing with the corporation no matter what. No matter what they do to us, no matter what the black hats do, they're agreeing with the corporation. No matter how many innocent people get killed, they're agreeing with the corporation, and so is the church. So, like I said, this so-called God or creator that the people are pushing or believing in is nothing but the corporation's dogma that they're pushing to keep the people blind. How long we've been waiting on this so-called God or creator, man? You know what I mean? It's mythology. It's not real. And I'm going to keep emphasizing that point. And I'm going to keep emphasizing, the oath takers in this corporation. The corporation can have an all-out war on the people. And they're going to agree with it and say the people was wrong when the corporation is wrong. And the corporation is pushing that religious shit, which is leading the people astray. And which is leading the people into the matrix. So they won't have no fight back. You know what I mean? Until people wake up and know nothing ain't gonna come save us, basically we fucked. Because people still waiting on that alien or that creator or that God when all it is mythology and folklore. It's not real. But y'all got it, man.
Yeah, your mic's kind of low. You keep going in and out, OG. Do you know what I mean? Maybe your hand is covering the mic, but I heard you loud and clear. And yeah, I agree with the mythology. You know what I mean? There are some truth in the mythology, but it's just a myth. And then the saying from Frances Cress Welsing, everyone knows the saying when she said the Ebonics name of Jesus. Well, yeah, it's just us, guys. And then you got the words of Dr. Henry Clark, where he would say, "Hey, man, we have no friends." On this side of the fence, it's this side of the fence. We'll say the Field brothers. Do you know what I mean? It's just us Field brothers here. And the people that will break the chain of learning and understanding of how things are and how things work, how the world turns. Once people go through that physical, mental transformation there, that you have been lied to, and here's the truth about things, how they view you, no matter your race, your creed, your color, you are looked at as sheep. In the Talmud, what do they call you? In the Talmud book, they call you goyim. You're an animal that doesn't need to be treated with, excuse me, with any respect. So, once we, break these indoctrination chains, physically and mentally, spiritually, I think that us as a whole will do better. And lastly, gentlemen, I have to say this, I'm proud. I'm proud of humanity as a whole, because that C-19 woke you up. That was a test that let's just say that was allowed to go through to see whose side you on. Did you run to them? Or did you run to them, like the government and the hospital? Did you run to your church? Or did you find yourself and your peers, the people that with like minds? So that C-19 woke a lot of people up, and I'm proud that more people woke up that event in our land.
Oh yeah, and I agree with both of y'all. Well, I'm not saying that y'all had opposing statements. I agree with OG when he's saying that nothing's coming to save us. There is no physical God. Or see, I'm gonna break down what I think. I think our eternal light, like our energy, the energy that's inside of us, I think there's a collective source of that energy, but I don't think that the ideal of there's a God who's watching to see who's wrong and watching to see who's right, or I don't think it goes down like that. And this is just me personally, because regardless of what I think, this is our problem. Everybody's right in their own sense of the light, but we got to reach a collective consciousness on what we know was right for what we can see. So I think that when I when we think about what Armageddon is, and when we think about being on this earth's plane, and you spoke about them placing us in an animalistic state. See, when we being our natural selves, our true nature, our bodies on this plane, when we in survival mode, we in animalistic mode, and we're overriding our energy or our spirits or our souls. We saying fuck our soul, fuck our spirit. It's just about this right here. I think that's what this shit is all about. And I think what will be called as negativity or darkness or evil or devil, the evils, is just our lower state. And this is our lower state, our higher mind. I feel like we are gods when it comes here on this plane. And I feel like our higher collective consciousness would create, which would be a divine being, the collective state of consciousness when it comes to a divine thought of creation. You know, we all are. See, we don't create nothing. We don't even create babies. We reproduce babies, but we don't create babies. So I'm saying that to say that I feel like we just a cup of the sea, but I don't feel like nothing or no one's going to come in and intervene, or I don't think the system's built like that. I think that's the trick. I think that's the trick of the church, to anthropomorphize what divinity is. I think the anthropomorphization of what divinity really is only energy. It's a conscience level type of thing. It's all about light, and we are physical light beings. So when we think about coming from a higher level of light, which would be a non-physical light, I feel like our collective thoughts or a collective consciousness of light presides to where light come from. When it say let there be light, when it shows the um when it shows the big bang, I think the light blew up and then it trickled down and then it made stars and then it made celestial beings and then it dropped down and then it made people, like type of thing. Like, you know, when I'm looking at this thing from a projector screen type of format. And I don't know if what I'm saying is being translated properly, but I'm just trying to give my description of this whole creation. Hold on. Yeah, they got a plane flying over me. I'm outside. I'm just enjoying this air. I'm by the airport, y'all. So, but 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 when it comes to this physical plane here, I feel like the church has tricked us into believing that somehow there's going to be a interference of something that's non-physical when that's not possible. I feel like that's where the mythology kicks in to misguide or trick the people. But all in essence, I don't want us to override our higher consciousness within ourselves because we have a higher selves. That's where your intelligence kicks in. You can't have intelligence without have divinity. You can have a dark divinity within yourself. You can have a dark higher self within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And use your light for lesser light, but there's nothing physical that's about to come in and intercede with this thing right here. And I think that's where we're being tricked into that we should wait or have faith to justify our fate. You get what I'm saying? See, once we start breaking these words down, we can start to predict a pattern. And the reason that we can predict a pattern from these words, the etymology, we can eat the etymology of these words to predict a pattern. You see what I'm saying? They try to give us faith for our faith because the wording is the programming. So we can predict the pattern of the programming from the wording. Like, you get what I'm saying? And that's the physicalness of this shit. So we gotta all rely on us. We gotta understand that we are the gods of this shit. That the higher power is inside of us. And I think that's what Armageddon is all about. I think Armageddon is all about us overriding our natural intelligence, our divine intelligence, DI over AI. And it's all within us. Everything is within each being. So if we can override our divine intelligence, that would get us to rely on artificial intelligence or just our lower nature, and then we'll just be animals anyway. And what you said, T. Wriggles, about them calling us Goyim, we can even see that when we look on the back of the Social Security card where they call us chattel or cattle. You understand what I'm saying? So I do um, assert to us having a higher nature. There would be a higher mind. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, that's the battle. Our bodies against our mind or our energy or our spirits and our bodies. When you go to sleep at night, you actually go to sleep and you actually go somewhere. You actually take a trip. Who's taking the trip when your physical body's laying down sleep? And why the fuck do you go with it? Why wouldn't you just stay asleep in the bed and just turn everything off? And we can see the difference between that because we can see that some people do physically get in the bed and turn everything off, and some people get in the bed and actually raise up when their physical body lay down. So for you to deny that consciousness, which is Christ consciousness, which is inside of you. Yes, you are. Yes, you are light. So for you to turn your light off when you lay down to go to sleep and don't let your light travel the cosmos, do you see what I'm saying? Am I making sense?
Oh yeah, you make sense. You make it complete sense to me. And I can tell you this much. Speaking with the religious people earlier today, you know, this is a tough thing to explain to everyone. So it's like, and the way I explained this, the topic came up that, with all the churches and the mosque and the synagogue, all of these churches, synagogues, and mosques fall under the Vatican, just as NASA and every other space program that's out there all fall under NASA. So this dictator monopoly that they got going on this is why it's important to, this is just for spiritual terms, to break those chains. Now, for us as a people, right? Us as a people to detach from the bosom. I should have said that in the beginning. To detach from the bosom, the three main things. And I know Enemies Public and Warfare K would say, no, you're forgetting, we need a fourth thing. And I would say you're right. It would be food, healing. You got to be able to heal each other, whatever hell happens. Feed, heal, shelter, defense. That would be the fourth one, where Enemies Public and Warfare K would agree with, we've got to be able to defend ourselves or whatever is happening. But this is the physical side solution that I see that we must do. We must be able to feed each other. We must be able to house each other, have our own space and all of that. We got to be able to heal each other. And then we got to be able to defend each other. And I think that if we, that force a good foundation. That's a solid foundation right there. And if we have that, as what's that movie, Field of Dreams, and that saying in Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. So I'm optimistic, on our future. It might look glim now. It might look glim and kind of bad now, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Means that something is happening. You know what I mean? And this something is happening is, hey, if you make a move, well, then naturally the people will move. There's so much. There will only be so much oppression in our time that we will take. There's only so much before the pipe busts and then the water has to spew out. So, I'm very optimistic with our future.
Yeah, I'm not so optimistic if we can't really start to put a grasp on what's going on. We gotta stop being so lenient. We gotta stop going to sleep at night with issues going on. Like, that story that we was talking about the other night with my cousin on the phone, which, I don't want to bring up in front of everybody. Shit like that, I can't go to sleep. If I feel threatened, I can't go to sleep. So I think that's what we doing. I think we are saying that we're threatening, but we're actually saying we'll take care of it tomorrow when we only got right now. The only time that exists is now. So these people are playing a trick on us because we're actually feeling like we got tomorrow or we got the next day to take care of some shit that's already being taken care of right now. See, by us saying that we'll take care of it tomorrow, we're following a predictive pattern that's being tested and predicted by our enemy. So once they see that we're not going to take care of shit, that's actually turning us into poster children. We went from um, we went from protesters, Protestants, to rioters, to posters, and posters are still images, and they're predicting this shit because they're placing spells upon us. They're putting the wording out there and they're changing the program. They're simulating the program, and we're falling right into the trap. So we have to, and this is part of the matrix system. We think we got time, and we're basing time off a matrix system of time. We're basing time off of the days, the months, the years. We're saying hey man, I'm gonna fuck with the astrology and all this shit. This is under Gregorian calendar. This is under the time structure of the matrix system. We're basing time off of the 24-hour clock of the day. This is under the Gregorian time system that falls within the days and the months of the year. This is within the matrix system. This all falls under Chronos. So if we can't take ourselves outside of the concept of time, there's no way to beat these people. We're already capped off. Like that capsule I was talking about.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like that capsule I was talking about. So, you can only get what's within the capsule. So when we're capped off inside of a construct, which would be the construct of time, then there's no other way to operate around it. And when we're dealing with the people who are constantly simulating, testing, and trying a certain thing, and they're being able to predict us and predictive program us, then there's no way to win when we steady thinking we got time and we dealing with this shit in a lazy fashion. You know, um, eh, that's the crazy shit about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm, mm. No, and I feel your concern. You know, now really is really the only thing that really matters. You know,
Yeah,
and all I can say to that, we've talked before. You know, I've mastered patience. You know, and and we know that, when things are happening, this is kind of being allowed in a way, because, like I said before, man, the people can only take so much oppression
right.
be- before the pipe bust. And we don't want to, it will be sad, for us to experience that, like what the others are doing in Europe right now. Do you know what I mean? They're fed up. A lot of people are
Yeah,
fed up,
everything good. Eh,
frustration, you know what I mean?
right.
Disappointment that, like, they're witnessing, like, you're really doing this with no Vaseline here,
And
so
see, they feel like me. I'd rather be a restrained monster than to be a uh a a well respected or a well known coward. I'd rather be a restrained monster. And I've just learned how to have more patience than I used to have. I've never
mm,
been a criminal, but I've never taken no shit. So that's why I found myself in prison, but I had to find the right things to be rebellious about. And now that I know that there's a fight for the people. It's just like our conversation per yesterday. And shout out to my brother Wisdom for joining the panel. And um, I don't want anyone to take that I'm taking really shots at Sister Betty. Because I got a lot of love for Sister Betty. Sister Betty was one of the first people to help me launch my channel. I got a lot of respect for Sister Betty as a woman, as a part of this community. I'm not attacking Sister Betty. I'm attacking the energy. I'm attacking the ideology because I would think that if we're gonna fight for and if we're gonna all have a perception point to say that, hey, we know that the land was taken and we're gonna have an ideology to take the land back. So are we trying to get the land back, or are we trying to just say, hey, we're gonna share it? And we already tried that. We fucked up when we had Thanksgiving with that. Every time they say happy Thanksgiving, I feel like Jay-Z on that point. That shit sound like a murder to me.
mm, mm.
Hey, my brother Wisdom, if you want to come back, man. I don't know why I keep knocking you off, but if you come back, man, I'll just let you jump right in as soon as you get back.
Right.
But you know, we've already tried everything possible when it comes to dealing with our enemy, and they're running out of options. So that's why I said they were shaking in their boots. And then shout out to my brother Wisdom. Salute.
Yo, peace. I was trying to get this thing working. Yo, T, peace. Yo, Key, peace, bro.
Peace, man.
Peace,
Peace, brother.
peace.
Y'all can hear me clearly, right?
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
loud and clear, brother.
Yo, you know what's funny? When you was talking about intelligence, I just looked up the definition of intelligence, and it's crazy because that's exactly what of intelligence. Look up the
Yeah.
definition. Now, look up the definition of intelligence.
Yeah, I'm about to right now.
It's
Okay.
crazy because that's exactly what's going on. We not using our intelligence.
Yeah, they want to cap off our divine intelligence. I think intelligence comes from our primitive life source. And that's what I would say with the creation or creator is the creation came from intelligence because we're not creating our children, we're reproducing children.
Wait a
You
minute, I
know,
got a
we
question for you now, Key.
uh-huh.
So, are we artificial intelligence? If you really think about it, because
In a
look,
sense we are.
say what, bro?
In a sense we are. That's what the simulation. That's why we're in a simulation. Because we transfer from the unseen world to the seen world. We are a soul having a physical experience. So if we think about playing a video game, we playing a video game right now. So if we think about when we lay down to go to sleep at night, how when the dream over, we wake up and then the dream over, like we gonna live this life, and when life over, we gonna wake up and we gonna be in our natural state. That's why we in a simulation right now.
Wow. So I, excuse me, fellas. So I looked up the definition, right? So there's two of them. It says one, the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. And the other one says the collection of information of military and political value. So then I scroll down, right? To the people also ask. They say that there are four types of intelligence. Uh, Intelligence quotient, measuring cognitive abilities. There's emotional, the capacity to understand and manage emotions. There's social, the skills to build and maintain relationships, and adversity intelligence, the ability to adapt and preserve through challenges. Hmm, interesting.
Exactly. That's why relationships are hard to keep up now. If we look at the time we in, a lot of people are not as close with their families or they used to be. You know, we have our individual families, but we don't see like a lot of family reunions no more and shit like that. And, you know, it's our divine intelligence versus artificial intelligence. A lot of people like to say human intelligence. I don't like to say human intelligence. Human is a a coloration of a man or a differation of a man, a hue man. You know, I'm man. You know, I don't like to call myself a hue man. You see what I'm saying? To call yourself a hue man would be like mankind, a kind of man. If you're a hue man, hue man is wrapping us all up in the same box together, which we're not all wrapped in the same box together. We don't have the same DNA structures. And I'm not just breaking this down to color because some light skinned people do vibrate on our vibration, and a lot of people of our same color don't.
Nah, it's
I
funny
just
when
looked
you
up
Mm-hmm.
the
talk about.
definition of hue.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Wilson, go ahead.
No, no, you go. I was just gonna say, it's funny when you talk about human, and just for some reason, I just thought about he man because it's saying he's man, he man, and then when you break down human, it's like whoa.
Facts. And what's that definition of human? It's gonna blow your mind. Go ahead, you got it.
It just says it just says a color or shade.
A shade or a color. And when they talk about law, law is law. But when you go into the court, it says the color of law. So they talking about a certain shade of law, a certain degree. A shade would be a degree, or a color would be a degree. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, whenever I hear law, I hear
Damn,
land, air, water.
you you breaking up on my land, air, water. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah, 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 yeah. You
can have
cooking.
you
You
on
cooking.
demon time, or or that sound could be on a loving vibe, and so
It's funny you
whatever
say.
frequency that they've got running, obviously it wants us to revolt. Like, this is what I'm getting from the National Guard. It's like, oh, so you want us to pop off, with this
Yeah.
sound vibration you're giving off with the National Guard there. Do you know what I mean? So you
They
want
want us
us
to.
to kind
They
of
want
pop
us
off,
to. They
you know.
want us to think surface
Yeah,
level.
go.
Even when you say land, air, water, we got to think as above, as above, so below. We got to think micro, macro. Land, air, water also is mind, body, soul. Land, air,
Mm-hmm.
water. So when you're thinking about water, we're also talking about the airway or the waters above and the waters below meeting make the waves around us. This where our emotions sit in the water. So the same laws that they try to govern the waters with, that's the same laws that govern the air because our emotions sit in the air. It's like when I walk in the room, if I got a fucking attitude towards you, you gonna be able to feel it. You really can see it. Your higher self see it. But you thinking surface level, you saying you feel it. You do feel it, but you also see it. If you ain't in touch with your higher self, you ain't gonna be able to see it. But you gonna have a perception point to be able to feel it. You know when your girl got an attitude and you be like, man, what's wrong? And she gonna say, nothing. But you gonna see it and you gonna feel it. It's airwaves. You know, this is how cell phones send and receive signals because they base this shit off the way you send and receive signals. You are the cell phone. That's why you gotta go to sleep and charge up at night when your battery run out of juice. Same shit.
Mm.
Oh yeah, wisdom. You was trying to.
Yeah, and
Oh nah, I was damn, I forgot what I was on break. Nah, were you talking about damn, forgot it. I just gonna come back to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, T real. My bad. I ain't mean to cut you off, bro.
oh, no, but this your show. You feel me? I respect the home I'm in. You know what I mean?
Man,
This
it's
is
our
your house
show,
for
man.
sure.
We
Oh,
building, man. It's our
Oh yeah,
show,
oh
yeah.
yeah,
man.
oh yeah. You was talking about
And
music, T.
I know one thing, huh?
I said nah. When you was talking about music, I remember now. When you was talking about that frequency, because I don't know if you when you left Bro Sanchez channel yesterday, we was talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
music, and somebody's gonna compare R&B.
Damn, you cut out, bro.
Yeah, you cut out.
And it's funny you
You
said
can hear
that.
me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, every time my phone lock, it does that. Nah, because I'm like, yo, bro, you can't say that because Earth, Wind, and Fire, that's all love right there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Even if they talking about making love, it's in the most positive way. You can't, you get what I'm saying? It's like they trying to mask
Yeah.
the real stuff, and you want to
Yeah,
compare R&B to, because he's comparing like new R&B to hip hop. You can't do that, bro. R&B
he,
stems from Earth, Wind,
he
and
didn't
Fire.
articulate himself. So, like what I was telling T Wriggles, what I was trying to say, because man, I got a lot of people I know in the industry. I walked away from the industry. I know there's demonic energy attacked to the industry. I was literally about to sign a contract to where I seen darkness. I gave up the shit. It wasn't because I couldn't make it. It wasn't because of none of that. That's why these artists still respect me to this day. I'm a pioneer in this shit. I started rapping back in '96. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they fuck with me like that. I chose not to go along with this shit because I was not about to put on a dress. I was not about to turn my family into a gang to start killing niggas and all this extra shit. I wasn't about to do none of that because I have morals. I have integrity. I have a sense of love for who I am and for who my people is. But the point I was trying to make before I left the stream yesterday was that we got artists today. It's gotten to the point with music to where these young guys won't even try to come out with their album or their songs until they put a click together and until they've got some bodies under their motherfucking belt, because drill rap is prevalent to this day. Ain't no artist coming out saying, hey, yo, check out my skills right now. They coming out right now saying, yo, we the such and such gang because of what King Von done did, because of how Young and Ace is, because how was Pooh Shiesty, uh, Jeezy, and Gucci Mane. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a frequency. So we have to look at the point of no return. There was a point of no return. Now hip hop is ours, but when they started to produce the albums and shit that carried this certain type of frequency, that's what took this hip hop away from us. So as far as producing albums and shit today, it's no longer ours. But as far as just having a musical soul and having a musical frequency, yes, that's ours, but there's a difference. This is why Sanchez is gonna win every time when we talking about music, because that's not how the industry works on what we think hip hop is. Hip hop can be in your soul, but the music industry lies outside of you and it's something that you have to go into.
I thought you right. Because bro, I live in the city. I told you. You can walk through the city. You might run across a random rap cipher. That's what I'm saying. Is you right? It's the energy, and they not talking about shooting. It might be that one dude, but again, this is off the dome. So it's like it's the energy of the cipher. But most of the time, it's really on some back in the day type of style. You feel me? But now you right though. It's all the energy. Frequency.
Yeah, because it's been so many young artists from my hometown who um I've seen a vision for, you know, and then like they from the hood, and then Lil Durk and King Von, and these youngsters, they don't feel like they can just come out and just be a talented artist. Even if they is talented, they saying, yo, I gotta get a click. I gotta be like NBA Youngboy. I gotta be like Kodak Black, you know, because rapping is, you gotta check in when you go to LA. Like all this shit is prevalent when it comes to the music game. Like regardless what anybody says, see, these are all our individual feelings. Yeah, individually, everybody feels like, okay, hip hop is ours. Music is inside of me. See, when we say melanin, we should be saying music, melody. There's a song inside of us. You got a sine wave. That sine wave, when you go to the hospital, when they plug you up to the machine, that shit they go doo doo doo. It look like a little snake running across the screen. That's your music. That's your sound. That's your energy. That's your frequency. That's running across their screen, and it's hitting different octaves. It looked the same when you pull up Pro Tools and when you mastering a song. You a song. I'm a song. Everybody's a song. This shit transpires to life. So yes, that's why we have such a connection to hip hop. You got a heartbeat. Raindrops is music. It's a beat. It's a pattern. When you dribble a basketball, it's a beat. It's a pattern. When you play football, it's a beat. It's a pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you box, it's a pattern. It's a beat. Anything you do and it causes repetition as a beat is a pattern. Repetition is of the reaper. Just like when um man, it say I went hold on. String yard like that.
Mm.
Yeah. This one I don't like string yard. Damn, damn. Hold on. Okay, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so repetition, is of the reason. So that repetitiveness, that like,
Yeah, that that breaking up, man, stuff. It's crazy. But I tell you this, until Key comes back, you know, I think hip hop can return back to its original form, right? But it's the people have to back support like lyricists, people that are actually talking about something, not the bang bang thank you ma'am type of rap artist. So if the people, like everyone, if they revert back to, all right, to the art form, how skillful are you are with the words, and putting out that good music, the people need to back that person instead of what the machine is trying to pump in front of us.
oh yeah, y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what I was saying, repetition is of the reaper. So that's why they said Satan was the chief musician because he was causing repetition. Repetition is of the reaper. So repetition is the base point of music. You understand what I'm saying? So this just ties into the frequency of music, what music is. So if we can take the repetition and then take the repetition on a productive note and start to make chants out of the repetition to make affirmations with the repetition, then it would be something positive. But by us taking the repetitions and having negative connotations with it, this is, it's gonna be a frequency that's gonna be music is medicine. So whatever we're being medicated on, that's going to be the condition of the body. The condition of the body is going to consist of the medication. that's being induced into the body. So this is why he's never going to lose when it comes to this music thing. And also because we're talking about the music industry. We're not talking about what we think about music. We're talking about the music industry. And we like to override the music industry with what we think and what we feel about music. And there's a negative connotation when it comes to the music industry because those who control the music industry are the synagogue of Satan. Now, whether you want to take that to a biblical sense or not, that's up to you. I take that as even when we talk about Christ, and I heard bro start cooking last night. It was late when I came back on. So we're talking about Christ consciousness. We're talking about the consciousness that resides within us. We're talking about our divine intelligence. So when we're talking, speaking of Christ, we're talking about our divine intelligence. So for us to deny the divine intelligence, we're giving reverence to our animalistic nature. We're giving reverence to our lower selves, which is our demon or our devil selves, our dark light. So they got our mind fixated on a surface level type of situation to where we're trying to argue whether someone lived 2,000 years ago, and unconsciously we don't know that we're denying that the divine light resides within us. Divine light resides within us because we're intelligent people who are true light beings that have a light source. We're not talking about Christ as a person walking. Now, did Christ live? I'm gonna say, yeah, he's living now. We're talking. I'm intelligent. I'm not a fool. I'm not confined to the construct of this corporation. So I'm a Christ-like being. Christ is talking now. The Christ consciousness is alive now. It's talking now. So if I don't want to be animalistic, I'm not talking with a pig mentality to try to argue with somebody about some shit that happened 2,000 years ago when I wasn't fucking alive and I don't have any physical fucking evidence to prove or anything like that. Come on, what are we doing? The evils are
Yeah.
yeah, the evil is the author of confusion. That's why you got a lot of people in the church who don't even read the scriptures. They're arguing shit that's not even in the Bible. Now, how the fuck confused is that? They're telling you that it's okay to eat pork when the Bible clearly tell you that it ain't. That you're not supposed to eat pork. And then they say, oh, well, when he say bless the food, that means you can eat anything. Like, this shit's stupid. In one part of the book it say don't eat pork. Then in another part of the book it say, well, if you bless it, then it's good to eat. So they saying, okay, that means you can eat pork. So in one part of the book it say you supposed to stone homosexuals to death. And then in another part of the book it say, well, you supposed to love everybody. And if you got sin, then if you ain't sin, then cast the first stone. That means you supposed. Ain't that confusion like a motherfucker? That's confusion. What are we doing here? So to deny your motherfucking intelligence is what they mean by denying Christ. Christ consciousness. Not somebody who's supposed to live 2,000 years ago. That's the trick. That's the surface level type of thinking. That's a pig mentality type of thinking. So we have to be intelligent enough to not even be on a surface level or a pig motherfucking mentality type of thinking. You're not finna trap me in no argument about some shit that happened 2,000 years ago. Nigga, I don't fucking know. I don't even know nobody who was alive 2,000 years ago. How am I argue with you about some shit like that? I can argue with you about what I'm saying right now. It's about us using our higher mind and rising above our survival mode, which is our lower self. This is the trap. This is what Armageddon is.
Facts.
Yeah, yeah. Like I had to get off the stream yesterday because I I have an issue with dealing with certain type of people that don't use common sense. Like a brother was on there saying, no, it's not the music. It's not the music. And to go back and forth with a person that don't understand the 75% effect that the music has on the body. I couldn't take it. I just can't take it. Some level of stupidity I just can't do. You know, but I do have patience though. I do have patience with solving this worldly problem here. And just as Neely Fuller, shouts out to him, rest easy, Mr. Nitty Fuller, to replace everything. And when I mean everything, man, like I really mean everything. Like with truth. Like what's the truth? Like when I say truth, like people say there's many truths, but there's one truth. Yes, there's one truth. 2 + 2 is 4. No matter where you go, that's truth. So if we can carry this truth, and break all this injustice and all the weird stuff that, you know, every world government is doing to the people, I think that's when things can get better. You know, breaking, like I said before, breaking all of the lies so everyone knows the truth about things. Be a better place.
I'm glad you said that because 2 + 2 is 4. Just like 3 + 1 is 4. Just like 0 + 4 is 4. But we're so stuck on um a person who just says, okay, I'm gonna say 2 + 2 is 4. They're making common sense. That's common sense. I'm gonna put two on this side, two on this side. Somebody might want to be more difficult on one part than the other part and say, well, I'm gonna do 3-1 on this, or I'm gonna do 1-3 on this, or I'm gonna do 0-4 on this, or I'm gonna do 4-0 on this. That's where the common misconceptions are happening with all of these situations that are taking place, and everything is energy and everything can be numerized and colorized. So until we're able to just find the common conception of 4, which would be truth, we're going to be divided. And I think the powers that be have did a great job on the division level when it comes to us finding a common consumption of truth, to the point to where they don't even have to do anything anymore. And that's like what I was speaking about, these Boule members. We have a black Boule because they know that we are frowned upon people just to be your natural self. And my message is for my people. But if other people get it and if other people with it, then I give it to them and I'm with them too. But I'm here for my people. But I'm not denying anyone. So I'm saying that to say that we have people, because I got to look at my people as being my people's problem. My people are my people's main problem, because we got people who are with us who go against us because they want to step outside of us because they have already come to the conclusion that we ain't shit. And so if we ain't shit, they feel like them being us ain't shit. So they have to step outside of us to be shit. So they help the powers that be step on us. These are the boule, these are the gate guards. But they infiltrate us because they use their skin tone and they use their slang and what they looking like to fit in with us, but then they try to use their intelligence and their intellect to fit in with the other people. These are snakes with divisive techniques, and they're undermining the people, and they're under the illusion of inclusion. And although they're trapped in the illusion, they're also trapped in a delusion. This is what a motherfucking alien invasion is. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So when we get to talking about all these different terms and shit like that, like, I gotta look at things like this. You know what I'm saying? Things that make sense, things that's really affecting the people. You know, like I said, I'm over here in Texas. When I first got here, it was a real war going on in the neighborhood I was in. 4 bodies dropped in 1 week while I was here. I went outside. I talked to both sides of these people. I brought these people together. We still cool and ain't nobody dropped since then. So I don't feel no motherfucking National Guard need to go in nowhere and talk to nobody. I travel all the time. I'm not saying I'm God. I'm not saying I'm special or none of that. I'm just saying that we need to put forth the effort and try some things that we haven't tried. We can't just give up and just be tired and just say, okay, Donald Trump, bring your guns in and point them at them. Can't nobody point no gun at these kids. They ain't going for that shit. You're going to have to kill them. And I don't want to see these children die.
Well said. Yeah,
That,
there's other methods, man. There's other methods of doing things. Most definitely. Look, down the street from my crib, okay? All right. Right, there's a 7-Eleven, and it's not a good area. You got people are, strung out and like to camp out there, right? And what they did, the 7-Eleven workers, they put 2 speakers on the wall, okay? Right? And then turned this frequency on that made it go, totally irritating, right? And so now the
yeah.
riffraff and the strung out people, they don't even camp out there. No, it's too irritating. And when I saw that for the first time, I looked at I looked at him and I went inside and I tell him, I said, "Hey man, that was a smart thing that you're doing with the sound going, and just that sound of making people not be in the area." I was
Yeah.
just thinking, well, then if there's sound that not to be in the area and to get away, well, there's got to be the reverse, where there's got to be a sound where it brings everyone together in somewhat of a harmonious thing here. The
Oh,
power of
yeah.
sound.
It most
So
definitely is, man. You know, they said the Freedom Bill. The Freedom Bill was exactly what it said. The Freedom Bill was freeing people because, see, when we get certain attitudes upon us, they're only frequencies. See, when you get a fucking crackhead vibe on you, I don't care what kind of drug you on, it's a frequency. When you get a sexual deviant vibe on you, I don't care what type of sexual deviant vibe it is, it's a sexual deviant vibe. So we would have bells that we would ring to shake this shit off. Like in the ancient times, or back when, we was not so commercialized as a people, when we had so many different frequencies, like all these different TVs and different entertainments to deal with, they would hit that bell on you and it would shake the frequency off. They start to crack these frequencies. It would have to be a big bell, like the big bells Times Square. They would just ring them. They said that they would hit these bills and these frequencies and tell you that it was time to eat. They would hit these bills and these frequencies and they would shake. They would hit these bills and they would shake these frequencies off to people. These were healings. The church bells. You know, there were church bells, right? So that's what the church was for, healing. There would be an acoustic hall in the church to where they would go in and they would sing certain songs, but then the vibration of the tone of the voice will flow through these halls, these acoustic halls, and it would shake a frequency off of you. You know, there's a lot of hidden knowledge. Um, you know, and our people are just not privy to a lot of the hidden knowledge. And, you know, unfortunately, we are where we are. And, you know, that's why I spoke about the divine intelligence. And right now, we're fighting the artificial intelligence. I'm just happy that, you know, the knowledge is being recognized by brothers like yourself, brothers like Wisdom. You know, when we was talking about that, y'all picked up on that easily. Y'all went into the definitions of the word. You know, we got to learn etymology. You know, secretism is key. You know, so that we can be able to put these pieces to the puzzle because nothing is exact. You know, we got to be able to do the Da Vinci Code on this shit. When you twist the word around, you still got to spin the end caps. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't going to be easy, but it is attainable.
Very
And
obtainable.
then, oh,
Very
yeah.
obtainable. You know, and I think it's, with the, with this stat I got, when was this? Probably 2004, 2005, around there. And, and the teacher I was listening to said that, like, look, man, he said, brothers here in America, we make $3.3 trillion a year. Okay. Okay. That's accounted for. That's not the ones not accounted for. The ones that are accounted for. $3.3 trillion a year. So we don't have a physical problem. You know what I mean? And some people might say we're lazy and all that. No, no, no. We make 3.3 trillion. So obviously we have a mental issue, which I totally firmly agree, because this is, to me, this is the second form of slavery, right? They tried it with the physical side and said, we got to switch this up. It ain't going to last. So they did it mental. So this mental chain and block we all have, and I think that too needs to be broken with truth, right? Because
Yeah,
some
you're
people don't
right.
understand, you know what I mean? Some people don't understand how, like I said before, how the world works, or how we function, and I think a really good dose of truth, is
Yeah.
totally needed. And I need it, just as I needed it more than anyone, when I really thought that they really took brothers from Africa and brought them here. I really did.
Yeah.
I believe that. Do you know what I'm
I
saying?
think,
And
I
so,
think oh, my bad, my bad.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say I think that money is one of the first issues. Like I said, we giving our energy for money. When we giving our energy, like the way that the homes have been disrupted and the mothers have been, it's not the mother's fault. A lot of people want to say, oh, women being too hard and all that. And I really hate a strong woman because I think a woman being just a woman is powerful. I like powerful women. I don't like strong women. You know, niggas is strong. I don't want women to be strong. I want women to be powerful. And a woman being quiet and virtuous is powerful as hell. Powerful is better than strong. So I think when monetary values are put into place, the homes are being disrupted, and then the energy is having to be transferred for promissory notes, which is money, and then they trying to turn this money into digital currencies, which is a transfer of energy. Energy is currency. Um, I think our currency and our energy could be more valuable if we are able to harness our energy for manifestation type tactics. If we don't have to rely on monetary value, if we were just able to produce things and able to trade things as we were at one particular point in time without trading our time, which is something that doesn't exist anyway. I think that's what's trapped us in this matrix system. So a lot of our people are one liberation, but we're also one that carry the monetary value into the liberation. When monetary values and liberation don't mix, money and liberation don't mix. Money goes along with this capitalist system. Money and liberation don't mix. So we gotta really pick and choose. We really have to overstand and understand what's really taking place. You know what I'm saying? Like that conversation we had with my cousin, and he was saying, "Well, man, God, you know," and I was like, "Nah, cuz God ain't got shit to do with no money." And I don't even think it's a physical God like a man in the sky saying you wrong for this, you right for that. But the concept of God, I know where you coming from. Even when somebody say Jesus or Christ, I know where you coming from. Even though I don't attain to your ideology, I know what you trying to say. But money and God don't mix. See, we getting mixed up what's happening with what's supposed to happen. And that's the common misconception that we have, and that's why we in a misplaced with what's going on today, and that's why we can't get right.
Yo, bro, do you know what you just said? You get me?
Hmm. Oh yeah, I can hear you, brother.
Bro, you just said something real powerful. You just said we worried about what's happening, opposed to repeat what you said, bro. Damn.
You know, we trying to we worried about we getting confused what's happening with what's supposed to be happening.
Now look, I cut out real quick. Bro, what show was that back in the day, bro?
Oh man, what's
Yo,
happening?
Key, yo, bro. Wow, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, that was a show that was what's happening. That show back in the day, and that show was really showing the transference of us coming out of who we were in the community into who we was trying to be. You got to think like Raj. You know, Raj was the person who was struggling. He was the person who was staying himself. You know, rerun Raj. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, in fact, that's why I said that's crazy you say that because I know that show, bro. I'm a '95 baby, bro. So
Hmm.
I'm thinking about what you're saying. It's like, damn, you're right. Because it's like that whole show, they just trying to be with the times and pop locking and like, come on, what y'all doing, bro? Like, nah, that's crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
I miss those kind of shows. You know what I'm saying? Even with and it's so sad to to have them knock the Cosby Show off. Like no, so people can't see how you know what I mean, and having that, especially for the men. Sorry, especially for the men, where we're visual. For the youngsters, I know myself that the Cosby Show had a big impact on me. You know, where I want a family like that. You know, the nice home and all that. And then so, not having that on the screen, you know what I mean? And, seeing, Malcolm grow to who he became, and Lisa Bonet and the rest, not having that on the screen for youngsters to see also, that hurts development when you've got back to the music, when you got drill going on. You know what I mean? You got the money, the hoes, the clothes, and so you feel me? And to rectify that, it's a simple task to me. Change the sound and then you'll be all right. But we got to deal with the person that's in charge of the sound, and I think that time is coming, as you state all the time. This is the rise of the light body. This is the rise of the divine feminine energy, which is you're going to be having more access to your subconscious mind to bring things forth, right? So, and this is, and it's silly how this might sound, what I'm about to say, right? But really actually thinking it and then doing it and becoming it, it does have an effect on us as a whole. So, like I keep saying, man, I'm really optimistic in the next, let's say, 30, 40 years on what we're all about to achieve, because the stuff is hitting the fan, guys. I mean, the stuff is hitting the fan.
Oh yeah, I think you're breaking up just a little bit.
I was really bothered when Wisdom showed me that the things got to go, and the more people that say, hey, these things got to go, these things got to go, hey, that kind of like makes it so as a, I'm very, very excited, and I can't.
Yeah, you're lying, bro.
Keith, how do you feel about, should we bring the bells back? Should we bring the bells back, Keith? What you love back on right here? Should we bring the bells back?
This thing lagging.
Yeah, he's lagging. But yeah, I like the last two. I like the last two streams Bro Sanchez did. Do you know what I mean? With the music, and then before that are men over the women. I said, ooh, genius. It was going in a good direction until Taz decided to shoot up the whole block. You know what I'm saying? Right. But
he started going there.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But to hear everyone's view, right, like kind of confirmed to me how indoctrinated people are. Really no one's above each other. You know what I mean? Especially when we speak about the women. I don't like hearing people badmouth women, and I don't like hearing people badmouth men, period. I like to hear solutions to the situations that we're in. And one of the solution is, man, that indoctrination from religion, okay, in that book. I don't care what anybody's telling me, okay? Look, that book is very, very dangerous, just on this fact alone, okay? If you have, I make a video on this, and I'm going to say these exact words on my video. When you have a 7-year-old boy, and then you have a 7-year-old girl, and then they hear that Adam and Eve story with the apple. This baby girl, this is someone's daughter, is going to feel that she's responsible for the wrongdoings, everything going to crap in our society, and that is not very godly to do, and that's, I have an issue with that.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
so
true.
look, I want to let Jay Hudson. You want to give us a mic check?
Yo, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, salute.
That stream was crazy though. T. He really had me thinking about a lot of stuff the past few days, bro. Even with the music I listened to, I already knew this, but it's making me think deeper. Like, damn, this is really destructive music we're listening to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
salute
facts,
to
man.
Jay.
It's Oh, my bad, my bad.
No, I was gonna let Jay interject.
Oh no, I ain't really had much. I was just hopping on, man, and seeing where y'all was at with everything. Salute to y'all though.
Oh yeah, salute. Yeah, man, we was just chopping it up, man. I was talking about poor righteous teachers, rich fools, that was the title. But we was just talking about, basically the state of our people and us being able to understand, what's good for us and what's not, us being able to come together on a common accord so we can identify our pros and cons because we so divided in our ideologies to where we got a misconception of what's going to be good for us and our people. Especially with this Donald Trump situation, to where we have a lot of people advocating for these troops to be brought into these major cities. Me personally, and I gotta stop saying me personally, but I think it's for a collective. I don't think that this is a good idea or it's healthy for our people or our children, because our children are being targeted or deemed as criminals. And I think that it's really black people as a whole that's being deemed as criminals. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. I think it's just they're trying to really keep uh some sort of like loop going. You know what I mean? Some sort of like cycle going right now. I just think we get off of these TVs, we get off of these phones, we get off of this internet, we start getting outside, we start fellowshipping. I think those small things like that will help things move quicker in a direction that we actually wanted to go. And
Oh yeah,
that's just straight up the dome. Because I'll be honest with y'all, man. The past couple days, I mean, really, the past couple weeks, I have not even been paying attention to the world, man. I've been paying attention to my inner self and just focusing on my immediate circle. So I have no idea what's going on in the world. I mean, I do know about the troops and how they've been moving into the major cities and stuff like that. But I've been just so focused on my peoples, and it's benefiting. You know what I mean? When we start to turn these TVs off, turn these phones off, like literally turn them off, and you can see the difference in how much togetherness that happens, man. It's amazing. And I don't think that's the only thing. I mean, it's levels to it, but that's one of the foundational things that we need to focus on, man. Is get offline, man. We need to go offline. It's time to unhook the online, man. And I think that's just one of the major keys into helping us move forward.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you
I
one hundred
agree.
percent.
I,
Mhm. Oh yeah, you got it, T River.
yeah, just going outside. That's something that you know, just thinking about when I was younger, in my adolescent years, and you know, there was a lot of outside. There was a lot of playing tag. There was a lot of imagination going on, and so when we look at the children now, and like I feel really bad for the
Yeah, you breaking up, bro.
inner
I think.
city children in LA.
Yeah, you
Like,
breaking up, bro. Oh yeah, salute, salute.
yo, you can hear me, kid?
Oh yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yo,
And
T, you might have to put it on Wi-Fi.
this,
Oh yeah, T Riggles. Yeah,
oh,
you might have to put it on
sorry, my bad,
Wi-Fi.
my bad. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you got Wi-Fi. Yeah, you might have to put your Wi-Fi on, so you can be able to, um, not break up or whatever. But yeah, man. So I want to ask y'all, um, so a lot of people were talking about. See, my whole thing, what I put together, I knew that they was talking about us when they said. I knew they was talking about us when they was talking about the Latinos because I travel a lot. So I know they really wasn't. A lot of Latinos voted for Trump. So I didn't see Trump going for the Latinos, but also when he was talking about the Latinos, I also told people that they gonna come for us. So with them going into these major black cities, and then with them saying that there's gonna be an alien invasion, and then them saying that the aliens are some big black people or big black beings. What's your thoughts on that, man?
I'm glad you brought that up, bro.
Yeah,
Because nah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm gonna go after you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, 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 no. Real quick, man. I like I just said, man. It's the same thing. We tuning our ears to the wrong things. Like that. Just because Trump say something, don't mean you know we necessarily have to make it registered it in our in our minds like that, man. Like we got to turn the TV off. I don't. We seriously, like in all different levels. I understand we want to stay up to date and what's going on. I know it's kind of difficult. I know that's kind of like a that's a thin line right there. I know we want to stay up to date with everything that's going on, but it kind of goes back to what I just said, man. I think we're focusing on the wrong things, and I think they're just trying to place some type of picture in our heads. You know what I mean? And I
I
just land there,
agree.
man.
I agree with you. Wisdom, you was gonna go next.
Nah, facts. They're both right, and you're right about tuning into certain things because that's perspective and that's your perception on your world. But again, we still gotta listen sometimes because they're trying to put this image on us, and it's not even us. It's really the kids. That's the sad part because they don't have no guidance. They're not really comprehending what's going on. So, which I both cooking. I both right though.
Oh yeah, T Riggles. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. They bumped me off. Yeah, I agree with you, Jay. And in football, right, with my coaching staff, really, we were really a really good coaching staff. And what we would say is, you can only control what you can control. Don't worry about what the other person is doing. Control what you can control. And that line, that statement, applies to us here. As Jay said, look, man, I'm with my own, I'm with my family, and everything going good. Yeah, you're staying in your confinement. I'm not trying to change, what they're doing over there. That's I can't control that. I can't control. I don't even want to control what Trump is doing or what the government is doing or the military or the police. I want to be able to control what I can control, which is my emotions, the way I treat people, the way I'm feeling. I mean, to me, that matters the most. And, the outside distractions, just as Jay was saying, that TV, you know, and the scrolling that people will do, that does have an effect on you. So to minimize all of that, and deal with what's happening inside of you and just around you is the way to go.
Oh nah, I'm fucking with what y'all saying, because see, we gotta. I look at it as we gotta learn how to operate. We gotta balance mind, body, and soul. So we gotta learn how to, you know, think about this shit on a mental level. You know, on a mental level will be me doing what y'all saying. Like, okay, I gotta just worry about me and mine. On a spiritual level, we gotta look at this shit. Okay, now is there some type of what we would call evil or dark things happening? And then on a physical level, we gotta say, okay, now what's going on with the collectiveness of the people? It's always a three body problem. You know, if everybody lose, I lose. We lose. So if I just get my family together, that's cool. But see, if all of us get fucked up, if it's really an attack on all of us, and then my family's sitting here straight, and I'm not a part of the system, then I'm gonna lose too. Now, if I'm a part of the system, then I'm safe. See, this is the trick. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like a lose lose. And when I say lose lose, is either you include or you lose. You include with the people or you include with the system or you lose. It's not just an individual fight. It is an individual fight, but at the same time, it's not. Because if you just fix yourself together and they just come to get all niggas anyway, and your name ain't in the books on being on their side, then they gonna get you too. Unless you switch it up at the end and say, so you understand what I'm saying? It's a lose lose. So we gotta be able to balance this shit out, mind, body, soul. And it ain't a dual digital scale, it's a triple being scale. It's mind, body, and soul. It's just not mental and physical. It's a mental, physical, spiritual. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to be able to overlook and oversee this thing. So we the observer. On my soul, on my soul, watching my mind. That's watching my body. On my soul, controlling my mind. That's controlling my body. So it's all that's what make it a three body problem at all time, and that's just on a low scale because it gets even deeper than that. So if we're not operating at least on that level, then we can't really be in a position to be in control of ourselves. That's when you can at least call yourself a god or a god, or you in a God conscious type of thinking. I know in my soul.
Yeah, I think it's lagging.
Okay, I thought my computer was acting up because it's tripping right now too.
Yeah, I think he's lagging out. But nah, again, it's still crazy because he's right. Because they snatching up babies and separating kids from their parents right now. So
Yeah, that's facts. I mean, what and this is the whole thing, with some, I'm for my folks too, but I'm for everyone.
uh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, can y'all hear me?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
if that's still going to bring problems. Now even the hate is going to come even stronger because we're doing so well.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
it's always
and
a three
so
body problem. It's never
so
we could.
for me to solve this problem, I think that, to solve everyone.
Yeah, I think you breaking up, bro. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I hear
man.
you, bro.
Yeah, I was breaking
Yeah,
up.
yeah. That's why I was just trying this StreamYard out. I haven't tried this in like 5 years, man, and I gotta work Zoom. Um, my personal Zoom was sabotaged, and I just don't really
Mm.
have the extra money just to be, cause I paid my shit up to December, man. And as everybody know, they've been going on YouTube, going on my videos, using AI to speak over my videos and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
I was just trying to switch it up, bro. And but yeah, I'm gonna have to come back with the Zoom because this StreamYard is crazy. But it's like we gotta play the game. We gotta, you know, because at all times all this shit is happening. So
Uh-huh.
it's soul, mind, spirit, body. You know what I'm saying? It's different levels to this shit. Then you got your ethereal body. Then you got your astral body where you go to sleep to dream. And this is where we get confused when we start trying to cross contaminate these things together. But it's all about juggling. That's what a juggler is all about. A juggler is juggling, throwing all these balls. But even though a juggler is juggling 5 balls, at one point it becomes synchronicity to where it look like one ball, but it's five. That's why all the different shells of the cells, when you can master all the different shells of the cells, you become the one. It's like the arms of Sheba. You understand what I'm saying? All this shit is in significance with each other. As everything is everything type of thing. So it's all about balance. And the more that you can um how can I say this? The more balls you can juggle, it's like on the inside is the dimensions. They say this is a 3-dimensional world we're in. It's a 2-dimensional world. Your third dimension is your ethereal body or your astral body. Astral body, ethereal body, and then the different shells of the cells are eternal. So that step pyramid that we're looking at on the external plane is actually an internal thing, but we make these altars on an exterior level to represent what's on the inside. It's a significance to what's on the inside. These are the different steps. These are the different degrees or the different dimensions. When it even comes down to masonry, this is the shit that they're personifying, but it's an internal thing. So we have to be able to balance these different shells of the cell. If we can't balance mind, body, and soul at least, then we're gonna always be losing. Because if we only in control of our mind and our body, or we only in control of our body, the government gonna be in control of our mind, and then the church gonna be in control of your soul. Or even if you off one, you still gonna be unbalanced. You understand what I'm saying? So it's more than just saying that I'm just gonna take care of me and mine and that's it. Because you trapped in the world and the collective with everybody else. It ain't like you just in the world by yourself. Cause if they come to get all of you and your kind, then you know what I'm saying? You still fuck
Hey,
at the end
hey,
of the
Q,
day.
can I interject real quick, man?
Oh yeah,
If
go
you don't
ahead.
mind.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's funny you say game. When you say game to me, all I can think of is school. That's the only thing that popped into my mind is school, man. It's this whole concept of a school. So, I mean, you kind of gotta focus on your intermediate circle in order to, you know, focus on the outskirts. After that, you know what I mean? Because your family comes first at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's like a domino effect.
Oh, that's
And
a
this, this entire construct is a school,
that's a
and,
fact.
and
That's the first
everybody
step.
and everybody rises up on their own time and on different times.
Damn, you breaking up too, bro.
Yeah, I want to add on to what he's saying. He was not breaking up.
Yeah, he breaking up a little. I think he fell off. But yeah, that's the first step. Your internal self, that's just the first step.
But not looking like this though. Other
Mhm.
races, other cultures, they treat each other like family, right?
Right.
So that's the point where I see where you coming from. It's like we don't even treat each other as family. So you get what I'm saying, all right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely.
Hey, because I'm just making up an example. Like two Spanish people that never met each other before. Once they start speaking Spanish, you would think they brother and sister. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's
You
different
see
with us. You
that
can't
in
even look.
the jails. You
You
see
walk
that
in
on
a
the street.
Yeah, you walk in the hood. You can't even have a conversation. Some niggas want to eyeball you in the face stare you. You can't even have a conversation.
That's a fact. And then, we always want to check each other. We always gotta test each other. Like I can't fly well, I can because I operate a certain type of way. I don't have no fear. I'm not scared of nothing. I ain't scared of the devil, God, Debo, the police, none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I go to LA. You know what I'm saying? I got people in LA. But there's a lot of rappers, a lot of rich people. They can't fly to LA, man, without somebody on their road. Like, hey, nigga, you gotta check in. You gotta, but if Aiden Ross flying to LA, he ain't gotta check in. Ain't nobody walking up to Aiden Ross saying, hey, man, you gotta pay me 5,000 of this. We do that to each other.
Uh,
You see what I'm saying? So it's just different levels to this shit. And we gotta be on the level with each other and we gotta understand what's happening. And that's why it's gonna take a fireman to put the fire out. When firemen are training to be firemen, they actually go into demos or displays of houses that's on fire to learn how to put a fire out. So it's gonna take a motherfucker that they familiar with. the fire is familiar with a fireman. So
Fuck.
when a fireman go in the building, then the fire gonna be tamed, or the fire gonna act a certain type of way to that fireman. The fireman gonna react a certain type of way to that fire. He's used to that fire. It's like people think they charm snakes. Snakes charm people. It's the other way around. So once we become privy or knowledgeable of this knowledge that I'm speaking, once you can realize that snakes charm people, then you charm the snake. You can't charm no snake just thinking you finna go charm a snake. You gotta know that snakes charm people. Since I know snakes charm people, you gotta be just as crafty as the serpent.
Right. Yeah, I'm about to
It
hop
gotta
off
be.
though, Brody. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate
Yeah.
you for joining. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here in a minute too, man. We reaching the 3 hour mark. You know what I'm saying?
I'll definitely be back on the next one though.
Oh yeah, most def, man. And like I said, this really was like just a test. But I did want to jump on and tap into this conversation that we was having. I appreciate y'all for joining, man. You already know it's much love and respect.
Likewise, bro. Peace, bro.
Oh yeah, good brother. Oh yeah, and Jay, if you want to interject, bro, or if you want to close out, feel free to do so, man. I ain't rushing us up out of here. Yeah, shout out to Jay, shout out to Wisdom, shout out to okay, Jay coming back. Oh yeah, salute, salute. Oh yeah, Mike check. Can you hear me, good brother?
Yep, I'm good.
Yeah, man. And I just feel like we got a lot of YouTube rhetoric that gets spoken and get thrown around. I feel like that's the same uh ideology as the preacher, the same ideology as the teacher. And it's just transferred to YouTube when we got people who really ain't in touch with reality because they not really in touch with the people. We can't be on platforms like this and be separatists. It don't serve no purpose to come on a platform and be a separatist. Because when we on a platform, we dealing with other people who are seeking insight, who are seeking knowledge. That's why my stream tonight was about the poor righteous teacher and the rich fool. You know, we don't have a lot of people who support conversations like this, but we always have these rich fools who being supported. They make a lot of money doing this shit. They're not giving back to the community. And they also talking shit to the people, telling the people how broke they is, all while at the same time receiving funds and support from the people and insight from the people because they're entertaining the people. So, until we can really topple that um, catastrophic event that's taking place upon us, I think that's where we gate guarded. I think that's where we being led astray. And, that's one of the issues that I really want to point out tonight, man, with the conversation. Yeah, man, I'm gonna get ready to get up out of here. We at the 3.5 hour mark. Uh, I don't know if you want to close out, but I'll let you take your time, bro. Close out. Salute. I don't know if you speaking, but I can't hear you at all. Okay, I can hear
You
you
hear me?
now. Oh yeah, I can hear you now, good brother.
Hey, give me a second, man.
Okay, okay. And shout out to everybody, man. Let me check the chat real quick.
Man, I just want to say, man, I appreciate this space, man. Respect to this space. Y'all really make a man think, man. Y'all really created this space, man, and it's this is a really good type of vibe right here, man. And this is what a lot of people need. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just gonna be like a domino effect, to be honest with you. Each one reach one. That's how we grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Each
And
one
and
teach
I
them.
and I just appreciate and I value everything that's going on not only in this space but in a lot of other spaces, man. You everybody can sense it. We can feel everything coming together. We may stumble sometimes, especially when we rising up and coming to unfamiliar territories, you know. But it's better when we doing it together. You know what I'm saying? Things seem to things seem to come together smoothly when we have each other. At the end of the day,
That's a
that's
big
all I
fact.
got, man.
That's a big fact, man. I appreciate you for joining. I do have some presentations. I did want to use this um situation to test the StreamYard out. Now I see how it's gonna go. I haven't used StreamYard in like 5 years, so and like I said, I do have a work Zoom. I'm gonna have to do another personal Zoom for this stream, but I do have a stream Armageddon Gnostic versus Believers. Where I'm gonna break down Gnosticism versus Believers with Christianity. I got a nice outline with that to where I'm gonna go in and actually do another presentation. If y'all been missing live streams, man, we got a lot of live streams that don't have a lot of views. We're gonna be picking back up where we left off. I also have a lot of uploads, a lot of shorts. I got another presentation I'm gonna be doing on it's 607 a spiritual leader or a fraud. We're gonna do part 5. I might do that tomorrow. But make sure y'all be on the lookout for Soulful Saturdays and Mindset Mondays. Those are gonna be our 2 privy points to where we definitely gonna tap in on Soulful Saturdays and Mindset Mondays. And salutes to everybody out there, man. Hopefully we can get a little bit more support. Hopefully we can get a little bit more people um, sharing the streams. Hopefully we can get more people supporting the Cash App, um, you know, so that we can keep this thing going, keep this thing alive. And man, as always, a pleasure to be here to build with the brothers, to have a good vibe, to get some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding amongst the people. I learn when I'm here. Um, I get a burst of good energy from being able to teach to learn, to grow. And you know, I'm gonna continue to do that, man. So salutes to everybody. As much love and respect. Y'all already know what it is, man. Till next time, man. Peace and power.
Yes, sir, man.
Salute.
Salute.
Salute.